Hi everyone, this year All Saints' Day falls on a Sunday, which we celebrate today. The Gospel is taken from chapter 5 in Matthew, verse 1 to 12. Today, as we contemplate the heavenly hosts that have gone before us, our brothers and sisters who are saints, there truly is a call and a challenge as we contemplate them, and to know that nobody's born a saint. You become a saint with God's grace. This day reminds us of the potential that's in each one of us. God's project is for each one of us to become a saint, but not by imitating another saint, being inspired by them, but we have to become who we are. We have to be ourselves and love God. When we love God fully and we become ourselves fully, it's called becoming a saint. But you'd be very surprised. These saints who inspire us, who are role models, often made big mistakes. Their past was not always glorious, and they overcame huge obstacles. But that's why they're saints. Saint Linus, who was the first pope after Saint Peter, was a slave. Saint Felicity was also a slave girl. Saint Patrick was kidnapped and for a while was a slave as well before he escaped Ireland and continued on to become a priest and a bishop. Saint David of Wales was conceived through rape. Saint Theodore was the son of a circus performer and a prostitute. Saint Margaret of Corona was a single mother who had a child out of wedlock. Saint Bartolomeo had a drunken father and he had to accompany him most nights with his brothers and sisters back from whatever the pub or the bar, whatever they had back in those days. Saint Mary Magdalene and Saint Mary of Egypt were prostitutes. Saint Lucia and Saint Bartolongo were part of demonic cults. Saint Germain and Saint Margaret of Costello were born blind and handicapped, and their parents hid them in shame. Saint Agatha and Lucy, who were Roman martyrs, it was their boyfriends that actually turned them in. Saint Monica, the mother of Saint Augustine, before her marriage had drink problems, addiction problems. Saint Augustine had problems with lust. The saints also came from all walks of life. You have like teachers, Elizabeth Ann Seton, Don Bosco, Angela Merici. You have kings and queens, Saint Louis of France, Saint Elizabeth of Hungary, Saint Mary of Scotland. You have couples who have become saints, the parents of Saint Therese of Lisieux, the Martin couple, and also Saint Isidore and his wife. Saint Theobald was a church cleaner. Saint Margaret of Louvain was a waitress. You had doormen, Saint Conrad, and also Saint Andre at Quebec. Cooks, you had Saint Zita. Bakers, you had Saint William of Rochester here in England. Lawyers, can lawyers be saints? Yes, they can. Good news, St. Thomas More, St. John Story, and St. Bartolongo were lawyers. Doctors, Cosmas and Damian. Soldiers, you had St. Casimir, St. Ignatius of Loyola, St. Martin of Tours. Teenagers, you had Dominic Savio, was 14. Mario Goretti was 13. Joan of Arc was 19. Of course, recently you have Carlo Acutis, who was 15, soon to be a saint, by God's grace. Housewives, you have Saint Dorothy and Saint Helen of Udine. Saint Benedict Labre was a vagrant and homeless man. Saint John Marie Vianney was a parish priest. There's hope for us. Catholic saints that were married to abusive husbands. You have Saint Monica, but also Saint Zita, who had 4 alcoholic sons. Our very first and greatest Catholic saint, Mary. She was 14, probably 15, when she received the call to be the Mother of God. She endured gossip about her pregnancy. She fled Herod, a mass murderer, to Egypt. All this before she was 16. St. Vincent de Paul was a man of the cities. St. Anthony of the desert loved the wilderness. St. Peter was a fisherman, probably illiterate. St. Paul came from the best schools and probably spoke 3 to 4 languages fluently. St. Joan of Arc led armies. St. Francis loved peace. St. Catherine of Siena took on the popes. Little Flower, little Teresa, was in a convent nobody knew about, sweet little sister. St. Bruno was very serious. St. Philip Neri was a joker. That's why they're so inspiring. They didn't let abuse, deformity, trials bring them down. No problem is greater than God, and to accept that is to begin to become a saint.